It's time for the main event. It's the Shoe Shine.
¿Qué onda, vatos locos? It's your boy Dave in the 702 coming at you for a special Tuesday night edition of the Shoe Shine. Joining me all the way from the city of brotherly love, Philly Irish, Drew Evo. ¿Qué pasa? Back from the Atlantic City, Jersey Shore. Where was you?
Little both.
I do hope everybody had a fantastic holiday weekend. Of course, it was Labor Day, and I joked, if you guys follow me on Twitter, you guys know that I joked that I was stuck in the mud at Burning Man, but nah, I was just like everybody else, taking advantage of the extra day. Got to hang out on Fremont Street, downtown Las Vegas yesterday. I run into my boy, the other me, Mark. If you guys follow Vegas live streamers, a big time YouTube content creator, my boy Mark. And Drew, I talked to you briefly about it, man, but if you guys watch my vlogs, if you're so nice enough to watch my vlogs, the vlog I did on Cinco de Mayo featured a friend of ours that I put in my vlog. I put his Instagram, DZ, affectionately known as Downtown Dave. Rest in peace. The homeboy passed away last week. Drew, the guy was special to me, man. Me and him hit it off. Downtown Dave, he told me he's lived everywhere in the world and has settled in Las Vegas. And guess what? Me and him are hardcore San Francisco Giants fans, man. We just hit it off ever since I met him last October. And he passed away. And if you guys saw my Instagram, I was down there giving our boy Mark his very own San Francisco Giants hat to commemorate the life of our friend DZ. So rest in peace, DZ. But also, Drew, you heard the guy from Smash Mouth? I don't know if you like that song, Hey Now I'm a Rock Star, but that song was a big deal, man. He was from San Jose, California. He passed away too. Kind of a sad weekend. Even the guy from Margaritaville passed away too. I mean, it was... Anyways, let's get on with boxing. Let me set up the comments because I'm not even sure. I just whipped the show together really last minute, guys. I set up the comments here so I could see them. Shout out to everybody. Oh yes, Michelle's in here. Hello, Michelle. VCC member Ryan from Vegas is in here. Sin City Syndicate. I gotta talk to you because I read the news today. He's like, dude, you gotta get into the Circa Millionaire thing. Circa Millionaire, for you guys who don't know, it's $1,000 to get in. They're running 2 contests, right? He's like, I have to get in. I know I have to get in. I know I have to play it. But it said that the newspaper's reporting Circa doesn't have enough money to cover the $14 million grand prize, Drew. You got $1,000 you want to put into it?
Nope.
All right, guys, the phone lines will be open, 702-710-3627. Friday night, Drew, I did something special with D-Style, our colleague over there at D-Style Boxing YouTube. We've had him on the show before as a very young prospect. Jesus Ramos Jr. is the co-main fight, Drew. I mean, this is when you put your investment into young fighters that you know could potentially be big stars. He is the co-main event for the upcoming September fight, Canelo Alvarez versus Charlo, 2 undisputed champions going toe-to-toe. And I was telling Drew, listen, when the guys get close to camp, you cannot tell them what day to show up on your interview. So I appreciate Jesus's time on a Friday night. Drew, D-Style and I decided to collaborate to do that because it fit his schedule. And you guys know in less than 3 weeks, Las Vegas is going to be a buzz with the Canelo fight weekend fever. And Drew, I got to give another quick shout out to our boy Mario Munguia. He's also a huge wrestling fan. Like Lucas Cattell, Lukey, who you guys hear on our show, like Gail Falkenthal, Mario writes for nyfights.com. And I got to tell you guys, please go to nyfights.com because for the first time that I know of, Drew, we were quoted. The article is based on our interview. And that just felt really, really good. Here's, obviously it's the picture of him, but here's the shout out right here, as you guys can see in the news article. Jesus Ramos told host D-Style and Shoe Shine Boxing, I'm focused on the fight. Just one of the many quotes. So make sure you guys go over there and read that article. For me, it was very exciting, Drew. You want to tell us, did you win some money, Atlantic City?
No, I don't really gamble that much. I don't really gamble really that much. Like I almost put a bet in on the Eubanks fight, and tell you the truth, I should have done it because I was going to bet the KO for Eubanks.
Yeah, and you know, I had to eat my words because, as a matter of fact, I did appear on Joe Habib Ringside Reporter Live's roundtable, and everybody except Joe said that Liam Smith was going to run away with the rematch again. And man, were we wrong? That fight was so one-sided, Drew. But you know, let's be real. I got the clip here, and if you guys didn't see this fight, it was from the UK on ESPN. But Drew, what was up with his feet, bro? Look at these. Look at his ankles. Not just the front foot, but it looked like the back one too. What's going on with this? I mean, he fought an injured fighter. How bad was this injury, and that he did not disclose coming into it that he you know, there's obviously something going on with his feet and his ankles.
Sure he wasn't drunk?
You think this Liam Smith showed up drunk?
Ugh. The way his foot landed, looks like he was like, drunk as shit.
Yeah, actually, you know, it was a nice win for Chris Eubanks. Chris Eubanks, the son of the legendary fighter, his father. We talked a lot about that on the Jesus Ramos interview this week about father-son duo combinations. And actually, I asked Jesus who he might think might be a potential father-son future combination champion. You know, and we brought up Fernando Vargas of Las Vegas and his sons. But Drew, Chris Eubanks Jr. has never won a world title in any weight class he's competed against. And now's the time. At 35 years old, and I think he's 35, the time is now. There's never been a weaker middleweight division. So I want to ask the chat that follows the middleweight division. Chris Eubanks is calling out Conor Benn, the doper, the cheater. He wants that fight. He's even talking about Kell Brook at 160. Obviously, he's concerned about making as much money as he can. But do you think he's got a chance against somebody like, say, Akhmadaliev or one of those champions? Easier champions?
Yeah, like, tell you the truth, man, he should be able to get a belt at 160. The only thing is, if they're willing to get the fights, to make the fights for it and everything, like, do they really want to try to get this? Like, you know, two of them are going to be unification bouts with Janibek.
Janibek, that's what I meant to say. I apologize, guys. Janibek. Yeah, I mean, do they want that kind of fight? Because he wants this Conor Benn fight, doping or not doping on PEDs. And speaking of PEDs, our boy Ryan, I believe I got this from Ryan's Twitter account, but this fight, Joe Casamano, I think he's Sicilian American, New Yorker or East Coast. He just fought the Polish fighter Kanauki, and he just caught doping too. Not only that, I had no idea that Robert Helenius, also who just fought Anthony Joshua, failed a drug test. That now makes like over 4 major scandals as far as PEDs. And are we just over it, Drew, that it's not even making news anymore?
You know what? I really think it's a corruption bullshit. Like, I just think it's a bunch of corruption now. Like. Now you guys want to bring out weeks after the fight that they tested positive?
Exactly. It's always post-fight that we hear about this. And it was involved Matchroom. The Casamano-Kanauki fight was a Matchroom fight too.
Yeah, so was the Helenius fight. But tell you the truth, you know what the AJ fans are going to say? Hey, yeah, he went rounds. He got beat up a little bit. That's because Robert Helenius was on the PEDs. They're gonna make excuses and everything. Tell you the truth, man. I think the whole he was on PEDs is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, unfortunately, he pointed out here in the chat, right? It's been five positive tests, and barely a whisper out of the media at this point. It seems like it's not something that we really. I mean, it seems like the week before it was something that people wanted to touch on, but this week it's barely making any noise at all. Nando, our boy, says here there's no boogeyman at 160. Drew, is there no boogeyman at 160? Nobody to be afraid of? Because I mean, at this point, I think Eubanks threw in Gennady Golovkin as a potential opponent. 40-year-old plus G.
There's no boogeyman. Janibek is, tell you the truth, is. Not should be too concerned with Janibek because Janibek There were times that Janibek looked great, and there was times that Janibek just looked like shit.
You look beatable for sure.
And everything. So like, I don't really see 160. 160 is a shit show, and it's really not. A lot of the people in that division is nobody never heard of them. Like Janibek's in a unification belt with someone we never even heard of. So you tell me that right now, is that something to talk about? Hell no, it's not something to talk about. But to the point that 5 tests positive in 1 month, has any of the B samples come out yet? No. So what happens if the B samples come out and all of them came out negative? Right. That even makes this all look bad because, hey, the B samples came out negative.
Yeah, speaking of waiting for B samples, Alicia Baumgartner, we haven't heard anything about what's coming up with her investigation or what's currently going on with the investigation. And shout out to Michaela Mayer that performed, I don't know for how many times in a row she's now been fighting in the UK, but Michaela Mayer made a successful jump. Drew, she fought Alicia at 130 pounds. Now she's moved up all the way up to 140. And what she says, she eventually hopes to land at 147. That's what, 17 pounds moving up. And she easily defeated her opponent, outclassed her, Drew. She looks a lot stronger at this weight class. And she's knocking on the door of 147-pound champions. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that Jessica McCaskill's weight class?
Natasha Jonas.
Natasha Jonas is someone that she's hoping to get a fight with ASAP at 147.
But be honest, I don't think she beats Natasha Jonas.
It's a lot. It's a huge jump in weight too quickly. She says she feels stronger. She looks good. And hopefully she gets that match made. And hopefully it's domestic too here stateside. I hope so in Las Vegas for her sake. I mentioned last week, I think she just bought her first house in Las Vegas. So congratulations to her.
I just don't think she beats Natasha Jonas. Like, you're not going to expect to land a jab and mean it and just jab someone to death for 10 rounds and then if you expect to win a fight when that other girl is just nailing you all around punches and everything and is getting a good attack in also. What are they going to go for? They're going to go for the more meaningful punches, not jabs. That's how that Baumgartner fight was scored. Like, Michaela Mayer, all she was throwing really was jabs. She wasn't trying to land big punches. Baumgartner outboxed her, and that was it. Natasha Jonas is more going to be the same fight for Michaela Mayer.
Yeah, true.
She's going to get outboxed.
So the Eubanks fight, all right, the chat's not saying there's anybody at 160 to be afraid of. Will Chris Eubanks actually pursue dream to be a world champion? But a lot of his performance on Saturday, we have to discuss is, was it attributed to him leaving Roy Jones and now taking on potentially trainer of the year in Bomac, which is Terrence Bud Crawford's trainer? And there was a whole shitload of drama surrounding Bomac and this UK fight, Drew, because I'm not sure if you heard all the news about it, but he was arrested trying to go home, and our girl Gail and NY Fights covered it. It made news everywhere. From what it appears, let me see if I can get this statement here. This is from Gail Falkenthal over at Twitter. Make sure you follow her and read up on her at nyfights.com. It says Bomac flew via private charter to the UK. TSA rarely screens bags or cargo on private aircraft. That's true. I know that. In the U.S., you're allowed to pack the legally permitted firearm and ammo in a TSA-approved lockbox in checked luggage. You just have to disclose. I'm betting Bomac does this all the time. He got to the UK, no screening, then got popped because he booked a commercial flight home. Drew, he's in serious trouble. The issue is he's got a court date coming up in the fall. The issue is, as an American, when you have no reason to go back to the UK, do you go? First of all, do you fly all the way back to potentially, serve a prison sentence? It's very serious. They don't even sell firearms to the public in the UK. Second of all, with extradition laws, do you even bother? Are they going to send them back? Or do they just hopefully just let this be a misdemeanor slap on the wrist, man? I don't know what's going to happen on that, but I do know from experience, my wife's going to kill me, but my mother-in-law is an avid shooter. And she traveled and did not know that her handgun was in her luggage. That's a true story. And it was yeah. But let me tell you, they're a lot more lenient in the U.S. Like that article points out, that luckily the TSA understood. This shit happens all the time in the U.S., that people accidentally leave their firearms that they didn't know in a lockbox, some type of luggage they're traveling. But I guess this is a big deal in the UK. But Drew, how much of Eubank's performance can we attribute to switching trainers with Bomac?
Tell you the truth, when he was at Roy Jones, he tried to imitate Roy Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And Roy said that he didn't listen to him in the fight with Liam Smith. So, but at the same time, this makes Roy Jones look bad as a trainer because Bonac was able to get him to fight like a lot better in this fight. And then, so this made it look like that it was the trainer that was the problem. So, Bomac took care of the flaws that he had and fixed them and said, yo, fight like this. You don't do that imitation bullshit and everything. And he listened but here's the other thing. When you have other fighters in that camp with you, they're going to work with you also, and they're going to fucking say something, especially when you have the undisputed welterweight champion there. So it looked like that this was more of a trainer issue than it was with the fighter issue himself.
That's interesting to hear, Drew, that you think that he finally found the right trainer. Obviously, his father is an amazing Hall of Fame fighter himself, and you know that Chris Eubanks in his earlier career had glimpses of potentially being a world champion. His natural talent was something that is reminiscent of his father, and now it seems with this right trainer that we're talking about, Bomac, who potentially is the trainer of the year, that he's cleaned up some of these big messes. Now the question is, what's he going to do with that at 35? I asked you guys, who should he fight at middleweight? It's a weak division. The champions aren't very, spectacular, aside from Charlo, who hasn't fought in nearly 2 years. He's ripe for an opportunity to take on one of these world champions, but we'll see, man. He wants to fight Conor Benn for money. He wants to fight potentially to get Kell Brook, another damaged past his prime fighter. I mean, I won't be surprised if he's calling out Amir Khan. Well, he's at it too, right? Amir Khan fought at middleweight before. Speaking of, guys, all right, Terrence Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence 2 is all but official. It's been announced. It's a rematch that most people are saying they don't need to see, but I did not need to see Kambosos what was that? Kambosos versus Haney 2. We didn't need to see that either. So what's going on with this rematch, guys? How do you guys feel about this rematch? It seems like a giant waste of time because Terrence Crawford is also 35 and he's got some potential super fights. One that this week, I'm quite surprised, Drew, by the backlash that Canelo and the shade that he's thrown at Terrence Bud Crawford at this potential fight that Terrence Crawford is calling for. But I want to know your first of all, let's talk about this rematch and the rematch clause being executed or exercised, Drew. Teddy Atlas today said, I was watching him and he's telling a story about this kid that wanted to spar Tyson and they brought him in a heavyweight and whatnot. And Tyson effed them up. And the dad was like, well, I want some more rounds. Give my son some more rounds. Drew, what are they doing over there, man? Is Errol Spence going to do any better in a rematch?
No, this is more like a cash-out fight. This is the cash-out fight. They know that they can't really make any more money not fighting anybody else but Bud. And there's not really a guarantee that he beats anybody at 154. So get a cash-out fight with Bud. And just, hope you win or something. I doubt that he wins the fight. I tell you the truth, I think he gets knocked out again. So I think this is a cash out fight, and that's all we can really look at as a cash out fight. But the comments that are made by Canelo, I think Canelo really needs to, like, I really think Canelo should, like, pump the brakes on his criticism of Terence Crawford, because Terence Crawford arguably beat the best two welterweights in that division at that time and everything, and stopped both of them. And the one, he made it look easy. And you had Victor Postacone, you got Gamboa, but he was really good and everything. Like, I really think that he really needs to pump the brakes off. I think he's just trying to figure out ways how to avoid potentially a Terence Crawford fight if it gets bunged up again. But I think Canelo at most, he needs to really worry about getting rid of Jamil Charlo than fighting the winner of David Benavidez versus Demetrius Andrade, if that's made up.
Yeah, and that's a tremendous fight. I want to get to that fight in just a moment, but if you guys didn't see, Canelo says, like I always said, I respect Crawford. He's a very talented fighter, but he just won one big fight. If you see his record, he's only beaten one good fighter. Other than that, I don't think he's beaten other great fighters. And then Terence retorts with, here we go with the I haven't fought nobody but Errol Spence talk, LOL, y'all so delusional is crazy. So it does sound odd that he would be not entertaining a fight with potentially the other greatest boxer of this generation in Terence Bud Crawford. I hope I didn't lose Drew, guys, because I don't carry the show well on my own. But while we're on the subject of Terence Crawford and this interview that D-Style and I did with Jesus Ramos Jr., who is a junior middleweight, 154-pound contender. He's ranked in the top 3 by the sanctioning bodies. Should Terence Crawford fight Errol Spence at 154? Remember, the stipulation says he gets to decide the weight class. The winner does. Terence Crawford has signaled he wants to move up to 154 too. Errol Spence would gladly like this rematch at 154, if not 160. Terence Crawford is most likely going to pick up this win at 154 and find himself ranked by at least the WBO as the undisputed welterweight champ. He will find himself ranked at 154, potentially derailing all these young lions that have been doing everything right. Okay, Tim Tszyu has got his shot versus Brian Mendoza coming up on PBC. That's set in stone. They will be fighting for that vacant belt that Charlo is going to have to give up in order to fight Canelo Alvarez. So that belt will be taken. Okay, Jesus Ramos and Erickson Lubin will be fighting on the Canelo undercard to potentially fight the winner of that fight, Tim Tszyu versus Brian Mendoza of Las Vegas. What happens if Bud Crawford gets this fight in December, beats the crap out of Errol Spence again, or decisively, and then all of a sudden the sanctioning bodies are like, well, hold up, Jesus, or Erickson Lubin, should Erickson Lubin win, but hold up, Jesus. Yeah, we know you were next in line, but guess what? Terence Crawford is he's here at 154 now, and he wants a title shot against the winner of Tim Tszyu and Brian Mendoza. All these young fighters that are waiting in the wings for their title shot will just have to hopefully pick up potentially some of these other belts that Charlo might give up or be stripped of. I don't see Drew, guys. Let me see what happens here. He can probably call back. But let me know what you guys think about that, man, because this rematch is all but set in stone. He says, I'm trying to get back on technical difficulties. Let me see here. So I will do my best. Guys, the phone line is open. 702-710-3627. Y'all watch all these other YouTuber live streamer boxing guys that can talk amongst themselves for a whole hour, and here I am. All right, let's read some comments. Ryan says, I believe that the rematch was slated to be at 154 for the rematch. Yeah, that's what it does seem like. It's not a rematch I'm particularly excited about because Terence Crawford, I think, being the rightful winner and winning so decisively and so one-sidedly, that I'd like to see him move on. You know, I'm even excited about the possibility of him fighting Canelo Alvarez. Yes, we've discussed the great lengths last week amongst each other that everybody would prefer to see the winner of David Benavidez versus Boo BOO NAdrade fight Canelo Alvarez. And I said that too on the roundtable this week, that is the fight all true boxing super fans want to see. We want to see Canelo fight a prime David Benavidez, the former WBC super middleweight champion. I want to see him fight that guy because David Benavidez did not lose his title to anybody. He's undefeated. He lost it to his very own vices. He lost it to a cocaine problem. He lost it to a weight issue. He lost the title twice, but honestly, he's undefeated, and he's the biggest threat aside from the Cuban fighter, the other David. They're probably the two biggest threats in this division, and as undisputed, we want to see him defend against those young, hungry lions. But the fact that Bud Crawford, the other greatest talent of this current generation, wants to fight Canelo, oh, that's such a big deal. Somebody daring to go up 20 pounds and give Canelo Alvarez all the advantages in weight. Oh, good. We got Drew back.
Yeah,
it's just like, it's unbelievable, Drew. I'm just saying, I can't recount a time an undisputed champion, 2 weight classes, nearly 20 pounds, or 3 weight classes below, wants to fight the next big star. And Drew, you're right. I would prefer to see David Benavidez, the winner of David Benavidez versus Boo BOO NAdrade. But you cannot deny Terrence Crawford at least engage with him on the conversation of having the two biggest stars fight each other.
Yeah, but it's really time for Canelo to fight like David Benavidez or Demetrius, the winner of David Benavidez or Demetrius Andrade. Because the thing about it is, that's it. The fight is made between them two. It's close, but it's not officially announced yet. So we can talk about
No, I saw his dad. His dad was on whose show was that? His dad's been making the media rounds saying it's all but set in stone.
Here's the thing. He's got to fight David Benavidez. If he does not fight David Benavidez, there's a big void in Canelo's career now, because he's going to be known for, hey, first Mexican undisputed champion, first undisputed super middleweight champion, but clearly did not fight the second best guy in that division, supposedly. So that's going to leave a void, and people are going to try to say, "Oh, he doesn't have to fight Benavidez." Yes, he does. These are the biggest fights in his division. If you're not going to fight super middleweights, stop holding the title belts hostage, and vacate them, because this Charlo fight, that's your voluntary one. You gotta fight Benavidez or Morel next. That's how it needs to be. And I think that one of these sanctioning bodies needs to mandate that fight. And if ANdrade versus Benavidez is made, I think Sumov has to guarantee the winner that they will be the next one in line to fight Canelo Alvarez.
It has to
I will mandate that fight. The winner of this fight, I will be on that, in that ring, and I will announce and mandate Canelo Alvarez to fight the winner of this fight.
I heard
and
that.
We will see if Canelo's going to take that fight or not. We're going to see if Canelo Alvarez is willing to take the fight. And if he vacates, guys, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. People are gonna can make excuses all they want. I consider it a duck.
Man, I don't think Canelo vacates these titles at all until he's ready to go up to 175.
That's what I think.
But for Demetrius Andrade, man, this is a dream come true. He finds himself in a position, Drew, to be just one win against this potential fight. He's been chasing Canelo Alvarez since 154 pounds. He's going around telling everybody, you've been ducking me since 154. And after he gets this win over David Benavidez, which isn't improbable. And in fact, if we get this fight gets finalized, there will be a handful of people, very respected people, that will pick ANdrade to pull off an upset. This stylistically is not going to be an easy fight for David Benavidez, in my opinion.
You know what? I really think a lot of people are going to pick Benavidez to win this fight.
Yeah, they will. He'll be the heavy favorite. He'll be the heavy favorite, no doubt.
I think Demetrius ANdrade beats David Benavidez. I just think he pulls it off. But a lot of people are going to really say, "Oh, David Benavidez is going to stop him and everything," and like they're gonna do so much to say, "Oh, he's going to knock out Demetrius ANdrade. He's fighting somebody finally. He's going to get knocked out by that person." Tell you the truth, man, this is really a bad matchup for Benavidez if he takes it, because if you look at the Caleb Plant fight, Caleb Plant had power. That's a totally different fight. That is a totally different fight if Caleb Plant had some power, because he was actually outboxing Benavidez and gave Benavidez problems. Mm-hmm. It was him being able to go through because there was power. ANdrade got some pop, and some pop to keep him honest and keep his attention going. It's going to be a rough fight for Benavidez, and he's going to have to be on his P's and Q's, because like he would take this fight over a Moel fight, because if anybody wants to say, I think David Benavidez is ducking the David Moel fight.
Well, he could be, Drew. I mean, not like that's an easier fight. Both of these guys I would categorize, despite not being the same stylistically, you just brought up David Morrell and Boo BOO NAdrade, as high risk, low reward. So I'm actually shocked that David Benavidez is willing to entertain this challenge, and I give him all the props and respect for it, because it is a difficult fight. It's difficult, just like when Canelo Alvarez fought Erislandy Lara, and most people thought he didn't walk away rightfully with the proper decision. It's going to be a difficult fight. You know, maybe the casual fans who just got on board with the whole mantra that David Benavidez is the monster, maybe they don't know about the pedigree that that Demetrius ANdrade brings to the table, but it's going to be a difficult fight, and I'm looking forward to watching this fight. I hope this one comes to fruition. There is another fight that got announced today, or essentially that the purse was official. So this is all but set in stone, and I'm so excited about this. I put this up as a thumbnail. I've now seen Shakur Stevenson fight twice. I saw him win the featherweight title in Reno. I saw him beat Oscar Valdez. I've seen Frank Martin with our boy Fonzie, who you guys occasionally see. I've seen Frank Martin fight twice, and now there's reportedly going to be fighting in November, potentially in Las Vegas, before the F1 Formula One race, which is going to be a spectacular event, Drew. I mean, this thing is worth billions. They really need to make an effort to make it the week of F1, the week before in Las Vegas, because the other potential date is in New York, I believe, after the Heisman Trophy Award, which is also another great sports weekend, man. But let's make Shakur Stevenson's second home is Las Vegas. He's fought here, and Frank Martin is developing a nice little crowd. PBC, he's bringing some people to these PBC fights, Drew. We've seen it firsthand.
Well, the fight has been made official.
Oh, that's great.
They made an agreement that Frank Martin is going to ESPN to fight Shakur Stevenson.
On ESPN, right.
It is going to be on ESPN. So now we just got it. This is like, I really heavily favor Shakur Stevenson.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really think Shakur Stevenson stops him.
No disrespect to Frank Martin, who's an entertaining fighter. I saw him beat the guy that looks like Muhammad Ali that everybody thought was going to be special, Mikel Rivera. And then also this Artem, I forget how to pronounce his name, Hatarisian. That guy really brought it to Frank Martin and challenged him early on, Drew. And I really had that. He was, I believe, an Olympic medalist. I had him beating Frank Martin in the first 6 rounds, and it wasn't until Frank Martin and his team told him to step on the gas, because he was really actually down on these scorecards, and he pulled off that 12th round knockdown and he put the fight away, earning himself this WBC title opportunity. I think it's great. I'm just happy, Drew. I'm happy PBC and Top Rank are going to figure it out.
But here's the thing. I think they had no choice but to put Frank in this matchup. For him, I think they had no choice but to have him fight for a title because you don't know when you get another opportunity. And now, if someone put a win off against Shakur Stevenson, that puts you in the center of attention and everything. But this right here is an uphill battle. And he should be happy Loma and Isaac Cruz declined. Loma said after the Haney fight that he was going to take time off. So supposedly that's why he declined it, because he wanted to take time off and everything. Isaac Cruz was backing on a Tank Davis fight, and he got that rematch supposedly.
That's big dollars. The pay for the rematch with Gervonta Tank Davis is going to far exceed what these two gentlemen are probably going to make. So I can't necessarily blame Isak for not wanting to participate. Loma, I find it quite odd. I wonder if at this point Loma's like, I'm at the tail end of my career. I did not get the decision in my favor against Haney, and I most likely will not get the decision against this great young American champion in Shakur Stevenson. Maybe he's thinking that I'm not going to get the nod there either.
I think, this is what I think. I think Bob will rather have Shakur versus Loma fight in a unification belt. I think it would be more of a better fight.
Yeah.
Because it's unification and everything. And
it's very possible. What you're saying is Haney's going to not come back down to 135. He's gonna move up to 140, and this is just the first belt to be stripped of him or vacated, right? Which will leave these other three belts up for grabs. Loma snatches a belt. All of a sudden, you got a super fight. You got Shakur Stevenson and maybe Loma with the WBO belt or one of these other belts, right?
Yeah.
By the way, so we talked about Errol Spence versus Bud, part 2, even though I don't want to see it, and a lot of people in the boxing industry don't want to see it. Maybe fans don't want to see it. And now you got their proteges, man. Frank Martin is the protege of Errol Spence. And then you got the protege, in Shakur Stevenson to Bud Crawford. You got both of their proteges fighting each other for the WBC 135 belt. This would be potentially the third title for Shakur Stevenson, and for Frank Martin, his first title opportunity. But that leaves a lot to be said. Should Frank Martin, as most people will probably think, Shakur Stevenson beats him, man, the rivalry between these two guys, that's something else, man. It's early to even think about who is going to win this fight, but I'm going to just say that most pundits are going to easily pick Shakur Stevenson to beat Frank Martin. It would be a massive, massive upset. So that's what I have for this week. Let me just make sure all these points, man. We started off this week. I found out there's more PEDs. We've got Bud versus Spence 2. We've got David Benavidez versus Boo BOO NAdrade. Boo BOO NAdrade finally getting a huge fight. It's almost but certain that this will be a pay-per-view fight. And David Benavidez did quite well on pay-per-view, which, like Drew says, it makes him the guy most boxing fans want to see Canelo Alvarez fight. We were shocked Canelo Alvarez fighting the smaller Charlo, but we're not hating on it. I'm not hating on that fight at the end of September, so long as we do get the winner of Boo BOO NAdrade versus David Benavidez for Cinco de Mayo, Drew. That's what I'm trying to say. Next May, that's the right fight to make.
Here's a point to that Frank Martin situation for us. That's more of a fight that Frank Martin, good young fighter, but will always get beat to the punch by Shakur Stevenson. No matter what he does, he'll always get beat to the punch. Now, to this situation, I thought this was a cherry pick. I still think this was a cherry pick. Dude's coming out 2 weight classes to fight him instead of you trying to fight one of these other guys down at 168. To me, he has not yet cleaned out 168 because there are 2 more guys there that you arguably should have fought the first time around. But, the other guys had the titles. He lost the belt on the scale and everything. You beat these 2 guys, you probably did clean out the division. Or you beat one of them. Because tell you the truth, if you beat Benavidez, you literally did clean out the division and everything.
Drew, we got a caller. We got the 951 on the shoe shine. What's up, 951?
Hello, it's Grandma Willow. I just came to the hospital. I got heart surgery. I love this show. I love the casual fan of the two. And I know Drew likes Eagles.
Dave, you hang up on Johnny Savage.
Wait a minute. I think Grandma Willow here is.
What's up, dude?
Oh,
Johnny
boy.
Savage. I love it.
Johnny, okay, guys, for whoever's listening, Johnny calls occasionally. Johnny, are you ready to make your football bet? Is this what you're calling about? Because as you can see, I'm repping, but I don't know if you're proud to be a Jaguars fan anymore.
Hey, double or nothing. 49ers going down, bro.
Double or nothing when? Jaguars versus Niners? Do you even know the date?
Sure, yeah, we're playing. Yeah.
We're
I
on the
don't know,
schedule?
but I know we're playing KC. I worry about KC. I want to beat KC on the second week of the schedule. So we're gonna beat KC. We're going to Super Bowl.
You're gonna beat Kansas City. You're gonna beat
Eagles flying to the snake pit.
You know what?
I'm willing to make a bet. I'm willing to make a bet right now, Johnny. I
No,
will.
we're nothing. Remember, I was $100. I owed you
$100. You say the Jags are going to beat the Chiefs, and you want to bet me $100.
No, for the Niners.
The Niners. Oh yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
You got it. Niners versus Jaguars. I got to go look that up on the schedule. $100. You heard it right here.
So,
Everybody who's
Dave,
listening. Yeah.
But Dave, here's a question.
And Eagles. Hey, bro. Hey, Drew. Eagles suck, bro. Give up on that team, man.
So Johnny,
what's
let me
it-
ask you something. So are you double enough in Dave so he can buy you a surprise Viagra?
I don't need that. I don't need that shit, bro. I got the stamina. I got the RPMs. I go to the gym. I work on the RPM. I fuck like a machine gun. I work on RPMs on the treadmill.
Johnny,
Fucking get my heart going for 5 minutes. Yeah. I get the heart pumping, man, because I'm gonna be like, oh, I can't handle it. Oh, babe. Oh my God. I can't handle that pussy, baby. Let me take a rest.
I think Johnny would have a heart attack on Viagra. I don't think he needs no Viagra, man. He's already
No, I don't need that shit, Dave. I don't need that.
What you're gonna need is $100 because it says here November 12th. Our boy Ryan says November 12th, 49ers versus Jags. It's $100 bet, and I will make sure I will call you. I will go back. I will write this phone number down, and I will call you to collect.
Who's your quarterback? Prudence? His name Prudence?
No, it's Purdy. Something you're not. It's Purdy.
Oh, I thought it was Prudence.
Who's your quarterback?
You look like
Or Pussycat. Hey, Dave, they got filming him. They got filming him. They're like Gardner Minshew. He was great the first year he came out. And then the next year, they have film on him. They fucking tackled him. They knew his moves they're gonna do.
Johnny,
they got him. It's like boxing.
Listen.
Film on you. They got film on you.
I'm trying to wrap the show up, Johnny.
Christina.
I got some homework for you. I got some homework for you. You this week. I know you watch a lot of Netflix. Watch the George Foreman movie and give me the casual fans film review of the George Foreman movie on Netflix. That's what I need. Can you do that for us?
I will.
All right, that sounds good. Now we have a bet November the 12th. By the way, this weekend I'll be seeing our homeboy speech impediment man from the Howard Stern Show. He's coming to South Point to do some comedy. So get your ass to Vegas. We're waiting. Tell the missus we're coming to Vegas.
Speech man, that's cool, man. And Baba Booey to all you all.
All right, Johnny. I'll let you go, man. We got a $100
All right,
belt. That's Johnny Savage, everybody, the Latin lover. He hasn't called in a while. He decided to try to troll us.
He's been drinking too.
He's been drinking tonight? You think so, man?
You can hear it in his voice. He's been drinking.
But we have someone in the chat that's new. Shout out to Larry Lopez. He says Frank has more balls than Tank. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. I mean, it's hard to argue, right?
Does.
It's hard to argue because in those past two fights that I've seen Frank Martin in, he's doing everything the right way to earn his title shot opportunity. And to fight Shakur Stevenson, who if there's a boogeyman, we started off people saying if there's a boogeyman in boxing, there's none at 160. Shakur Stevenson is the boogeyman at lightweight, man. That's not the guy you want to fight. And for you to think you will beat him, that also speaks volumes about you mentally and your mental game in the sport of boxing. So congratulations to Frank Martin for getting this title opportunity. Congratulations to both promoting outfits, Top Rank and PBC working together to put on this great fight. Hopefully it's going to be here in Vegas, Drew.
Congratulations, Frank, on getting your ass kicked in the future.
Hey guys, Drew, you know I'm a big fan. I was a big fan of Thompson Boxing, and I just want to share this quick video. Thompson Boxing, within 2 weeks, we find out, they were folding up operations of a really big West Coast club promoter. But Beto Duran and Jess Rosales, they found a new ownership in CBN Promotions. They're the the commentating part of the commentating team. But this looks awesome, Drew. This is what's going to be. They're now moving what used to be Thompson Boxing. Now, this is nice. Anyways, guys, I don't want to get a copyright flag for that, but they're coming back. It's not Thompson Boxing anymore, but it is New Blood, which was Thompson Boxing's club outfit called New Blood. And I'm still trying to figure out how to watch this weekend because they used to put the fights on for free on YouTube and everybody was watching it. It was a great place to hang out with friends and watch smaller boxing on YouTube. You never know who you were going to see in the chat. And I don't know for sure if they're going to be on YouTube, but you can go to cbnpromotions.com. We can all figure out how to watch it this weekend. What else is going on this weekend? This week, Wednesday, tomorrow night, Drew, Pro Box is free on YouTube with Paulie Malignaggi. I love watching him and Chris Algieri commentate, and they're always super competitive fights. So that's coming on tomorrow. And last but not least, Friday, Drew, also from Los Angeles. We talk about these smaller club level fights, but Oscar De La Hoya on DAZN is doing something at Indio Casino, Fantasy Springs, I believe. So we got Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. I don't know anybody fighting on that other than maybe some of these Thompson Boxing guys. Lukey's interviewed them. Those are always great club level fights, fun to watch. You never know who's going to break out of that level and go on to the next level. Same thing with Pro Box on YouTube. You never know who's going to be fighting eventually on ESPN, Top Rank, or PBC. So that's what we got this week. And in just 2 weeks, we'll be having a huge card on for Mexican Independence Day. I want to talk about all the people fighting on that card, Drew. September 15th on Top Rank because, Jesus Ramos that we talked about at the very beginning of the show made it public that he was completely open to fighting Xander Zayas at some point in their careers, which I just, man, I was so excited to hear that because these kids are about a year apart and talent wise, they're both future stars, respectively, Mexican American and Puerto Rican stars. So he said, listen, he even said, I don't know if, 2-3 years, Xander will be fighting at Top Rank. You know how the business is. Maybe I won't be fighting at PBC, but, if it's a fight that can be made and we're both stars, we'll do it. And you guys can go watch that interview, like I said, at D-Style, man. That's exactly what I wanted to hear, too. Your thoughts, Drew?
Would be a good fight and everything. So, but it's not for at least a couple of years.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's something in the horizon, potentially, right? Shout out to everybody that joined us today. This was going to be a short Tuesday night show. I see my friend Rhonda. We haven't seen her in a long time. Haven't heard from my boy Johnny Savage. Rhonda met Johnny Savage. Oh boy, you just missed this call. And speaking of football, Rhonda, you missed it, but his call, he said that the Jags were going to take the Kansas City Chiefs. Yikes. Let him know how you feel about that. He said that the Jags are coming for the Chiefs. Shout out to the Niner gang. Shout out to all the Raider Nation here in Las Vegas. I am debating putting on that license plate on my car, Drew. No, I'm just playing. I'll never do that. Drew, what's your hot take for this week in boxing?
There's no hot take. Like, it's a boring fucking week in boxing.
It was a boring week, but we made a whole fucking hour of it. I appreciate everybody that watches the Shoe Shine, everybody who joined us. I really, really do appreciate you guys. Don't forget to hit that like. And if you watch us regularly, man, y'all know I appreciate it, but maybe go as far as to just leave us a comment to help this algorithm so Drew and I could finally get over that threshold and get monetized. Brian says, damn, 49ers always booing the Packers out of the playoffs. We do got a long rivalry, but I got to get out of here before Rhonda starts talking Chiefs.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'll be honest with you guys, man. Like, the Eagles gonna win again. Eagles gonna probably win it this year.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I saw this, Drew. I saw that your Eagles are potentially, they do these things early on preseason and decide who's going to be in the Super Bowl, and they're saying Jags and Chiefs again, but they got the Niners at number 5, so I'm happy for that, man, and I'm excited for regular football to start.
But I got a channel. I got my own channel.
That's right.
Philly Irish Street Evo. It's a gaming channel and everything. Just did streamed the horror game the other night and everything. About to stream another game maybe this weekend, hopefully. Mostly it's going to be playthroughs of story modes and everything. Some horror games, some not horror games and everything. So guys want to see some jump scares or some bullshit, you come over to the channel.
Drew, say the name of your channel again. I'll make sure to put the
Philly Irish Street Evo.
Philly Irish Street Evo on YouTube, guys. Make sure you guys go help Drew out and hit the subscribe for that. It's his gaming channel, and he does a bunch of other stuff, and we want to get him, help that channel get going too. Because you know what, Drew? I'd probably like to start another channel separate from the Shoe Shine too. So make sure you go support Drew and support the Shoe Shine, and we will be back next week. Everybody have a blessed week. Enjoy the week. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.